What's good, everybody? This is I Don't Know Podcast. I Don't Know Podcast. I Don't Know Podcast. I am the. Oh, shoot. What's up, everybody? This is the I Don't Know Podcast. I am your host, Caleb Quizera. Let's go. Thanks for tuning in. This is the I Don't Know Podcast. I am Caleb Quizera. Yes, I am your host, and I thank you so much. I appreciate you for tuning in, for coming down here, clicking the link, the YouTube video, the podcast, wherever, man. I am so proud of you, and I appreciate you for being part of this thing that's in the making. This is history in the making. This is a great thing that we're doing, and this is not just what we're doing. The legacy or the great thing that's happening is actually the transformation that is happening in our lives. Like the last episode that I was doing, that I was working on, there was something that I said. I can't remember of it exactly, but I said it and it touched me. It touched my soul. I hope that it did too. I hope that as we speak that you get touched. So I can't remember what it is, but I said it, bro. Like I was like, dang, man. I still need to work on that too. But it wasn't like an accusation. It was like a conviction. It was like a sense of being invited or being um awakened to a place in my life that was lagging, or to a to a department, or to a part of my spiritual work, to a part of my physical life that I was not so good at, and that I wasn't acknowledging it, that I wasn't aware, and that I haven't admitted that I wasn't, for me to actually pursue the transformation, to pursue the healing, to pursue everything that we want. So I appreciate you so much for coming down here. Today we're having a very sweet and sour topic. It's called perspective. This is something that I've been wrestling for about a year, but to be real, or to be honest, it's something that have been very wrestling for about 5 months. You know, because perspective is a huge thing. It's one of those words that when they ask you about it, like it's like vision or purpose or plan, 5 year plan, or perspective. There are those kind of stuff that when they ask it to you, when somebody asks you those type of questions, you want to answer, you want to reply, because not saying that you don't know, it might leave you in a very bad place. Because let's say if your my girlfriend asked me, like, so when we're still dating, right? Let's say we're still dating. We haven't we're not like in a relation, an actual relationship yet, but you very interested into this lady. You're trying to get him, right? And then they ask you, like, what is your 5 year plan, or at a job? Let's say you're a manager or a supervisor, and the supervisor of your supervisor, or the manager of your manager, you know what I'm saying, ask you, like, okay, so what plan do you have for our company? What 5 year plan do you have? If you don't have it, man, it leaves you in a broken space, in a broken place, because first you want to reply, you don't want them to have a bad impression of you, that you don't got it figured out. That's one. Two, leave them alone. It leaves you in a place of feeling like, I actually don't know, I actually don't have it, I actually don't have a 5 year plan. So yeah, I have a one of those topics is perspective. But to say, just to say this, to put it out there, it's hard to say that you don't know, you don't have a 5 year plan, that you don't know what the the current season that you're into is gonna work, how it's gonna work out, or where you going. You don't have a vision, you don't have a purpose. It's very hard, you know. It's very hard to say that you don't know, but I'm here to tell you that it's hard for me too. I know you thought that I was gonna say that you can do it or it's easy. I'm here to tell you, man, it's hard for me too. I'm still struggling on that to this day. When somebody asks me like, where are you going to school, or what do you do for a living, and I'm not doing the best job, it's not the best job that I want to do. Or somebody asks me like, what car do you drive, and it's not the best car that I like. I'm just driving a regular car just to get me from point A to point B. It still feels not very best of me, or of me saying it, that you know it is what it is, you know. So yeah, I'm here to tell you that I'm still struggling on that, and that I'm with you on that, because I haven't figured it out too. I don't know what to say. I don't have a 5 year plan, and I don't know what to tell somebody when they ask me a 5 year plan, and I don't even have a 7 months plan. I don't know where I'll be in September. Well, I have an idea, but I don't have like a very detailed plan of how I'm gonna play my moves, how I'm gonna pull this into play and get this deal and talk to this company and get I don't have it. But one thing that I'm decided on, and one thing that I'm big on, is I'm trying to be secure and strong and grounded in my uncertainty, because I don't like the way that I feel when I tell somebody that I don't have it figured out, you know? So I want to be secure in myself, in the state of being uh not sure, or sure of what life is happening. I'm trying to be secure in that place, and as I work on it, because I'm trying to get there, but I don't want to keep feeling bad whenever somebody asks me those type of questions, you know. It's not putting a guard up. No, it's not putting a guard up, you know, trying to um cut cut off people. No, it's not a guard up. It's just being secure in yourself. It's being content with who you are, with what you are, with the way that God made you. Well, you know, so yeah, man, I'm still trying to do that, and it's hard. It is very hard. But man, one thing about the journey, once you committed on the journey, and you have said to yourself that nothing can stop you. Even if you get down, you can still come up. You can still get back to the business. You can still get back to work. You can still get back to the journey, to the sobriety journey. You can still get back to whatever that it is. You'll get there. It's just a matter of time. And the beautiful thing is to look back, bro. Like, though I am not there, I at least I have a small eclipse. I have small particles of me being secure to now. If somebody asks me what it is, that I can tell them and not feel as bad as I used to feel. So the journey, once you committed about the journey and you were 10 toes down, you like, I am not getting moved. Though even if I fall down, I'll get up 7 times more. It's good because you like, nothing can stop me. The good or the bad cannot stop me, right? I am decided. Whatever that happens, I keep going. The good thing about that is it might not be very sweet. It might not be something that you love, but once you turn back and look, you're like, man, I am not there. I know I'm not on the destination yet. I'm not at the destination yet, but it it looks like the wall that my back was against is very far from where I am. So I've came a long way, you know. So one of the sweetest thing in the journey is looking back and seeing how far you've come. Though you haven't made it there yet, it's looking back and seeing how good you are doing, and letting that motivate you to keep to go even further, you know. So the topic of the day is perspective. Man, perspective, the shortest definition I could come up with on Google searches is, and well, I love short definitions. I don't like long definitions because I don't like classes. Some of them, most of them, I don't like them. Maybe I like some of them, but I don't like classes like that. So if it's a definition, slice it to 10 words maximum. But that's what I used to, that's what I wanted, that's what I loved when I was in class, when I was in school. um I love to have short definitions. And yeah, I like short definitions. So the shortest definition of is perspective is a way of thinking or a way of understanding of something. Eh, Perspective is a way of thinking about or an understanding of something. Thinking or understanding about something. That's that's nasty right there. Thinking and understanding. Well, if anything ends with ing, it's something that's progressive, something that's continuous. So it says thinking, understanding is continuous. So understanding, perspective is supposed to be something that is refreshed, or is supposed to be something that's ongoing. It's supposed to be something that keeps going. It's not supposed to remain in the same form forever, or for a long time. But the problem is our understanding. We think that we like to get understanding. We feel like understanding is something that we can get in an instant, and that's it. You know, we feel like it's something that we can get this understanding, get this way of thinking right, and that's it. But that's not what it should be. It says it's understanding. It's a way of thinking. It's supposed to be refreshed, improved. It's not supposed to be stagnant. And if you know anything about water or anything that's stagnant, though it's pure and it's purified to the to the best way that it could, as long as it's stagnant, it's gonna become nasty. It's gonna become bad. If you take water, whatever brand of water you like, core, purified, what are these other type of waters? All these type of waters. Matter of fact, core, you should hit us up. We just gave you a free marketing right there. So whatever type of water you like, you put it in a bowl, you put it in a cup, leave it there for 3 days. That water is gonna be bitter. That water is gonna be very bad. You can't drink that water. So anything, however good or bad it is, however good it is, I wanna focus on that. However good it is, however purified it is, as long as it's in the same space, it's gonna get bad. So just as perspective, just as vision, just as love, your love to your family or to your girlfriend shouldn't stay in the same way. Your love to God shouldn't stay in the same way, because it's gonna get nasty. It's gonna get stagnant. As long as it's stagnant, it gets nasty. But I like the word perspective because it makes it possible for anyone to have it. Because if you say vision or purpose or meaning, that's deep words. It sometimes excludes some of us that haven't figured it out. It somehow excludes some of us, or some of people who think they don't have it together. So that's why I like the word perspective. Because yeah, when you say those words, it sounds so deep that some people might not have it. But if you say perspective, if it seems perspective it sounds like just an idea. It sounds like just a thought. But that's what actually vision is. Vision is just an idea, or it's just a perspective, just a way of thinking that you focus on, and you bet your life on it. You focus on it, you cherish it so much, you value it so much, and give it more credibility and give it more well, I don't know if credibility is the right word, but give it more attention, though it's not something that's tangible than what is tangible, though you can't see it, you can see it, giving it attention as if you can see it, though you can't see it. So perspective, let's just say for now, let's use these two words interchangeably, right? Let's just, if you end up liking them, good. If you don't like it, at least we had a conversation, right? Let's say that perspective, you can switch it with vision or purpose, because at the end of the day, it's just that I feel like vision is a little at a higher notch from perspective, and purpose is kind at a higher notch from vision, but you can use them interchangeably, right? So perspective, it's another way of thinking. It's a way of thinking. It's understanding. It's understanding how this mic functions. If a baby picks up this mic, from their perspective, it looks like a toy, so they might start, you know, hammering it to hitting it to the wall or playing with it. But if a podcaster gets this mic, a podcaster like me, we gonna drop some banger. You know what I mean? So yeah. So what's the difference between these two? We have two different perspectives. A baby thinks it's a toy, and I think it's a mic that's used to record a voice, a sound, and some vibrations. Yeah. So the only difference right there is perspective. How we see this, how we think of this, how we which influences the way we approach it. For example, with perspective, with the right perspective, um abstaining from certain foods with certain ingredients or with certain uh stuff in them, with the right perspective, it's a diet. Abstaining or stopping to consume certain foods that might not be good for you. It's called a diet, right? But without the right perspective, it's called starving yourself to death. It's called stopping yourself from enjoying food, right? So that's two different perspective, and how it gives you two different ways of life, two approaches, right? So you might be going through hard stuff, you might not be living your best life, but I'll just say, maybe if you get the right perspective, or if you get another way of thinking, because remember, the definition says a way of thinking, it's a understanding. So if you get an understanding, you might start enjoying what you're living in, so with the right perspective, you start seeing purpose in the pain that you're going through, because if somebody, the only reason I don't like to, I hate, I love when my body is very what's the word, uh in work, or is very working at 100% of its best, like I'm not sick or I have an injury. I love it, right? So I don't like to see myself having an injury or something, but the only reason that can let me have an injury, or let my body be pierced with a needle, is because I have an understanding that maybe there's something not functioning well in my body, and I have to get this shot from the doctor for my body to work well. But remember, I don't like my body to be hurt. I don't like it. But the only why would I then go to the doctor and sit there and give them my arm or my whatever, and then let them pierce into my body freely without screaming? Is because I have a perspective that this thing that they're doing is actually doing more good than the bad that I'm looking at. I am looking at the bad. The bad is right here. A needle is entering my skin, is entering my vein, right? I'm looking at it bad. but I'm considering the good that's packed in this bad. So that means with the right perspective, you can you can see a purpose in pain. You can see the good in the bad. You can actually consider that your life can even be better, or that there is a lot that's going on than just what you're saying, what you are saying, than just the abuse that you're seeing. So with the right perspective, you start seeing purpose in pain. So I need you to be open with yourself and resonate with yourself what that sounds like to you, what that means to you. With the right perspective, you might find um, a humble beginning instead of a hood. You know, not that it's not a hood. It is a hood. It is a crazy neighborhood, right? But you're not looking at it like, dang, bro, the government can't do anything. Like my parents can get a better job and move us to another neighborhood. That is fine. That is beautiful, sweet. But if you think, if you change your way of thinking, you can start considering this like, oh, this can actually be a very great story when I make it out. A different perspective. It just gives you um positive out of negative. It just gives you positivity out of negativity. And with the right perspective, you start considering stuff, good stuff. Then you start considering that good stuff can come out bad stuff. You know, you start thinking. It's another way of thinking. Remember the definition. It's a way of thinking about or understanding of something mostly different than the one that you had. A different thinking of my life, the life that I'm going through right now, my phase, my youthfulness that I'm going through right now, trying to figure out life. With the right perspective, it can be so beautiful, because I'm like, man, it's the journey, bro. It's about the journey, not the destination. So I have to enjoy it right now. I have to try out things. I have to put on some boundaries to actually get somewhere. I have to not spend money to go out every Friday, every Saturday and Sunday. I can actually save this money and come out here and maybe pay that money in a podcast studio and maybe just give a content out that I don't know if it's the best content out there, but just put it out there in case it might help one person. So with the right perspective, you start seeing purpose in pain. But without the right perspective, you'll see pain in your purpose. Remember, we said that purpose is the journey, not the destination. So with the right perspective, you're gonna start seeing, though your journey is very messed up, though your journey is not the best one, you're gonna start seeing purpose in there. You're gonna start considering, oh, though this is bad, it's actually preparing me. Though my dad was not a very best dad in the world, and he actually abused me and he did this and that, it's preparing me to be the best dad for my kids. You start seeing the the good out of the bad. Not that it's not bad, it is still bad, but you just taking this bad thing, extracting the good thing, and pushing the bad thing away, and learning from both. Learning from the bad and embracing the good that's out of it. you know so again, perspective is sees purpose in pain, but without the right perspective, you see pain in your purpose. The right perspective, that's what I'm talking about. Perspective sees, thinks, looks for positivity in every negativity, while without it, you'll find negativity in anything. See, the right perspective finds positive positive stuff, good stuff out of the bad. But the wrong perspective finds the bad stuff out of anything, not out of the right thing, out of anything. So that means with the wrong perspective, even the stuff that would have been good, it will be bad. That's the worst thing about not having the right perspective. You don't just lose one way, you lose all the way. Because the right perspective, it sees good in the bad. It sees good in the bad, but the wrong perspective, it sees bad in anything, not just in the good. That's crazy. That's no wonder why we go to our jobs and we don't like them, and we cussing everybody, and we go to our church and it's the same thing, and we're complaining like, man, they couldn't bring a better worship team, bro. Like, that's crazy. You go to a drive-through, you like, bro, the drive-through is crazy, man. They need better workers. You go to a gas station, you like, man, the pump is not working as it should be. And that's the wrong perspective. You will see the bad in anything, not just one thing, not just the positive thing. Because with the right perspective, if you go at a church and they don't have the right worship, you can be like, okay, I have no knowledge about worship, but I have a friend who's actually doing great as a worship leader. I can maybe try to hook them up with a pastor and they can try to work something out. See, you're not paying any money, you're just connecting two people, and I'm sure the pastor sees that too. They're gonna work that out. If he needs to pay them to come and train their worship team, he's gonna do that. You're just connecting them. That's the right perspective. The wrong perspective says, man, this sucks and this needs to stop. I need to go to the next church. I need to find out my church. I need to go to another church. And it will keep going that that path. That's how you end up changing a job to job, going from church to church, going from relationship to relationship, and it never stops. So with the right way of thinking, you'll think of it as humble beginning instead of the hood. That's nasty. That I need to say that again. With the right perspective, you'll think of it, you'll consider it as a humble beginning instead of a hood. It's a hood, yes, but that's not what you clinging on to. That's not what you're embracing. You just thinking of, this is a humble beginning. This is actually the best thing that God can use in my story. When I get out there, man, this gonna inspire a lot of young stars out there that are living in the same situations as I'm living in. It's gonna um impact them. It's gonna inspire them to actually think big, to think ahead. So with all that said, how do we keep the right perspective? How do we get a right perspective? How my life, the life that I'm living in right now, because I can bet this with my whole life. However bad your life is, however crooked, however not so good your life is, I'm sure if you get the right perspective, the perspective of God on your life, the right perspective, I'm sure 100% you'll start seeing the good out of the bad. And I'm not saying what you are living in is not bad. It is. It might be bad, but with the right perspective, you'll see the good out of that bad, because it might be preparing you to be the best public speaker. All this time at your job, at the drive-through that you're working on, are arguing with all these customers, it might be training you to be the best public speaker, to inspire people to find their purposes. You know, the hard labor, the blue collar job that you're doing, it might be preparing you for endurance. For maybe sometime in future, you might join the army, and some of the exercise that they do, they will be easier for you because you've been doing this construction work or this hard labor job that you've been doing. So it might be a preparation. So however bad it is, if you get the right perspective, you can start seeing the good in the bad. So how do we get that right perspective? How do we keep it if we have it? How do we get it for the first time if we haven't had it? We stay open to ideas. That's one. You have to keep yourself open to ideas. Don't ever, this is something that I'm trying to adopt in my mind, because when you talk to people and God helps you and you can say one or two things that might sound good, it might make you feel like you always right. So I'm trying to keep reminding myself that I'm not always right, so I should stay open to ideas. This goes so hard mostly to us Christians. We think we're always right because we're talking to somebody who doesn't know Christ and we're trying to lead them to Christ. We think we know better than them. We don't know better than them. We just in the place of somebody who received the grace from God. That's all that is. And I'm not accusing anybody. I do this today. I did it. There's this guy that was. I don't know if he's saved or not, but I was trying to talk to him about God and all this stuff, and I cut myself. I actually did it. I thought of it after I did it. I was like, "Dang, bro." I was trying to say to this guy, like, I got all of this stuff. He asked me a question. He was like, okay, in the Garden of Eden, why did God tell us about the fruits and not to eat them and all of this stuff? And I was like, he was protecting us. He was all of that. But then some of their questions, I didn't have no answer. He was like, why did he tell us not to eat the fruit of knowledge and of knowledge of good and bad? If he's a good God, why is he keeping some stuff from us? And I was like, a good dad, as a dad yourself, there's some stuff you can stop from your kids getting. And I was trying to make up all this stuff. I didn't have a right answer. I was trying to make up stuff just to seem like, my intentions was good. My intentions was to lead him to Christ, but I was trying to. Your intentions might be good, but the way you bring them, some you can. I know in your life, or you've probably heard somebody say, it's not what you do, it's the way you do it, or it's not what you say, it's the way you say it. Maybe saying sorry because it's you just need them to see that you say it, to hear, just need them to hear that you said sorry, something like that. So you have to stay open to ideas, improvements, corrections. Improvement ideas. I don't like to call it corrections because when you call it corrections, it makes you feel like you're wrong. And I know myself, I don't like to feel like I'm wrong, and you probably don't like to feel that you're wrong. So myself, I consider them as improvements or ideas. You know, improvement or ideas. Because when you title it as correction, you'll feel bad and you might end up not doing it. So you start off as stay open to ideas, and as you grow up, you might get to stay open to corrections. I promise. I This is almost done. Stick with me for a couple more minutes. I got you. And as you keep on growing, you'll get stretched slowly but surely, and you'll be able to get there. You'll move from staying open to ideas to staying open to improvements and staying open to corrections. I'm trying to get to staying open to corrections to because whenever somebody corrects me, my first reaction is not good. It's not very good. I might come off as I'm trying to defend or trying to react like, bro, why do you tell me what to do? Like, especially if it's somebody that has no authority over you, if it's somebody that you just work with, if it's a coworker, you're like, man, why do you tell me what to do? Like, you're just a person like me, you know. So I'm trying to move to. I'm on ideas. I'm trying to move to corrections because once I get to corrections, or once you get to corrections, you'll be able to apologize or repent or ask for help. Because once you're on ideas, you just consider them. You just consider they're good. They're good ideas. But eventually you will have to move from that. But also, I don't want to rush you. Remember, it's progression over perfection. We're not trying to be perfect. We're not trying to rush the process. You take your time. Two, we have to keep searching for good. We have to keep searching for the positive. You have to keep trying to find the positive in your life, in the bad life that you live in. You have to keep searching. You have to keep. Right now in my life, I don't like the job that I'm doing, but I keep searching. I keep trying to see, like, God, are you using this to prepare me for a greater code, for a greater goal, for a greater upgrade, for a greater something that you're gonna do? I have to keep searching, and it helps me because it keeps me. It uses my time um productively in the right thing Because if I don't keep searching for the right thing, I'll find myself searching for the wrong thing. I'll be like, man, this job, bro, it's crazy. Let me look for another job. And I'm moving from job to job, running from the assignment and running from the lesson that God is giving me that can take me to the next level. So that's point two. You have to keep searching for the good, though it's the bad. Right there, that's perspective. For you to keep searching the good in the bad, you have to have perspective. You have to have the right perspective. Three, you have to surrender and submit your perspective to God. Man, all this stuff that I'm saying, you can do it on your own. And as somebody who's a go, I'm somebody who wants to know like this is the right thing. I might struggle for some time, but once I feel like I can do it, I'm all in. So once I feel like I got this perspective thing down, I'm like, let's go, baby, let's do this. But you can do this on your own. You have to have God. You have to have God in the middle of this thing. Most actually as the main person, as the main character of this thing. Because if you try to do it yourself being the main character, you're gonna go on a you versus everybody else. Because when I'm doing this, having God as the main character, I'm like, if I fail, I'll look up to him and he gonna console me. He gonna help me to go through it. And if I get it right, I'll be like, he will get the glory. He will be the one. I'm gonna be happy, but I'll be happy that I made him happy because I did something that he wants me to do as his kid. But if you try to do it on your own, you'll get to a point that you get the right perspective and you'll think that you got it. So anybody who comes to you with the correction, with an idea, you'll be like, nah, bro, shut up. You don't know what you're saying, bro. Trust me, I have the right perspective. And remember what we said. It's supposed to be continuous. It's supposed to be something that keeps going. It's thinking. It's the way of thinking, the way of understanding. It's something that keeps going. Four, you have to wrestle with it. It's not something that is happening. Though I said that you have to submit it to God, though I said that you have to stay open to corrections, though I said that we have to keep searching. It's not something that you don't search one time. You don't submit it to God one time. You don't stay open to ideas, to corrections and to improvement one time. It's something that you have to do over and over again, and it's gonna suck. It's gonna feel bad because you wrestle. Literally the point says you have to wrestle with it. The first point, second point, third point, they don't work until fourth point comes in play. You have to wrestle with it because even if you surrender it to God, you have to be in the place of doing this thing over and over again because it's not something that will work at once. It's you gonna have to surrender over and over again. You gonna have to keep searching over and over again. You gonna have to stay open to ideas over and over again. And what that looks like is it looks like wrestling, because one time you wish you acted this way, you will wish you will want to have this right perspective, but you end up having a wrong perspective, and uh perspective is impacts and influences the way you react and the way you act. So you end up acting the wrong way, and though you was trying to do the work, you find yourself in the wrong position, in the wrong spot. So you go have to wrestle with that, trying to come back to the right side. Though it's not what you wanted to be on the wrong side, and I know you're doing the work, you have to wrestle to come back to the right side. And you gonna have to do this back and forth over and over again. That's wrestling right there. You're not gonna do it once. You're gonna have to keep doing it again. So if I'm telling you, find the right perspective. The life that you're living, how bad, how good, how whatever that is, find the right perspective. And you know what this looks like? It's praying. It's talking to God. Literally, I heard that the Greek word, I don't know if it's Greek or Aramaic word for prayer is wrestle. Like the direct translation. It means to wrestle. So you're gonna have to wrestle. You're gonna have to pray. You're gonna have to wrestle with your character. You're gonna have to wrestle with it because the time that you've been living with the wrong perspective, it has been your nature. From birth, we have a sinful nature, we have a selfish nature, you know. So you're gonna have to wrestle with this thing, because everything in your body, it wants to think of this situation as a bad situation. But your heart and your mind, or the inspiration from the Holy Spirit, tells you, no, this is bad, but I got some preparation in this. This is painful, but there's purpose in this. There is preparation from this. But the rest of your body tells you it's bad, so you're gonna have to wrestle. Your mind, your heart needs this, and your body needs this. So how is this gonna work? We're gonna have these two will have to wrestle. And I can tell you this from my experience. You This battle, you might lose it more than you win it. But this is where perspective comes in. Though you are losing, you're still learning. Though you're losing today, you're losing on somebody talking down on you. Though you have the right perspective, you're like, okay, maybe it's God trying to teach me how to be humble, you know. And then you win on this, but then tomorrow you lose 10 in a row. But with the right perspective, you'll be like, okay, I got this right. Yesterday I got it right. Today I got it wrong 10 times greater. But guess what? God is actually taking me to another level. This was level 1. He's taking me to humbleness level 2, level 3, level 10. And that's why I failed. So let's get back to it tomorrow again. So I am uh I was gonna say I'm challenging you, but it's hard to say because I haven't made it either. So I'll just say I'm encouraging you to look into the perspective, the right perspective, to talk to God, to look into yourself. But mostly, point three is very important. You have to surrender this to God. You have to do this together with God, because I heard a quote that says that if you look into yourself, if you try to find your purpose, if you're trying to find your perspective inside yourself, you get suppressed. And if you try to find it outside, in your job, in your cars, in your money, you get depressed. But if you look into God, if you look at God, you'll be at rest. So you can do none of this without God, you know. So that's what I'm gonna say. So point one, stay open to ideas. Point two, keep searching for the good, for the positive in any negative and bad situation. Point three, surrender it to God, submit it to God. Point four, wrestle with this thing. Go at war. Go at war with this thing. It will be bad. It will be hard. But with the right perspective, you'll get through it. And like I said, there's nothing sweeter than looking back at where you was coming from. Though you haven't made it, you're like, dang, man, I used to be that bad. I was crazy. I, I can't believe I was talking to my mom like that. I can't believe I was talking to my kids like that. But guess what? I'm past that level now. Now I got that down, but I know this is still challenging me. But guess what? I got too much at stake to let it go. I got too much going on. I've came so long. I came a long way to give up. You know. So that's what I'm gonna leave with you. So be committed to the work. Stay grounded and work it. Do the work. The work gotta be done. Nobody can do it for you. You are the only one who can do it. So, and again, this was the I Don't Know podcast, and I am so grateful you chose to listen to me. And man, I don't know, bro. This is the name of the podcast. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. Life, the perspective thing that we just talked about, I don't have it down yet. I am still trying to get perspective. I am seeking perspective from God about this podcast, because I don't know where it's going exactly. I don't know exactly where it's going, because all he told me was to start it, was to do it. I don't know if it's gonna at some point be my full-time job. I don't know if at some point I'll have my own studio and hire staff to run this stuff for me. For now, I am the one to record this and go on my computer, cut it, edit it, do all those stuff. Though I didn't learn this anywhere at school, anywhere, all this stuff. And so I'm trying to get the perspective. So don't think I am not the best person to tell you this because I don't have it down. I haven't achieved it to the fullest, you know. But the thing is, I am progressing. I am not perfect, but I'm progressing. And more than that, I am committed to this progression and to this process. So I might not be perfect, but I am progressing and I am committed to the process. Man, I might not be good right now. I might not be the best person to hang out with or ask me about anything, but check me out in a year. Check me out in a day. Check me out in an hour. Cause I'm committed. I'm committed to keep looking into the bad to find the good. I'm committed to staying open to ideas. I'm committed to submitting this to God. I fail over and over again, and sometimes I spend day without submitting this to God. But when I get back, I'm like, God, take over again, reign over it, do what you want, you know. And I am willing to wrestle. So thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. I hope this content clicked something in your life. I hope this rang a bell. I hope this reminded you of a conversation. I hope that it, it taught you a lesson. I hope that it did something. It took you from point A to point B, but B is not the destination. C is the destination. Z is the destination actually. But this was just a push to get in the ring to fight. So I appreciate you so much for coming down here. Uh, God bless you for tuning in. Press like, share, comment, do whatever you want to support this thing. Man, we out here. We running I am a podcaster. I can't believe it. I can't believe it to this day. But guess what? We good, man. We good. As long as we're still committed, we good. So God bless you. I feel like I don't want to end this podcast, but I gotta end it because I promise you that I'm not gonna be long. So God bless you. Stay tuned. More are coming. Let's go.